Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we're going to be talking about the Andor series, some drama for Solo: A Star Wars Story, LEGO Star Wars and more. As always my dear Megalorians, before we dive into the news, please may I ask you to hit that big red subscribe button if you've not done so, and also be sure to give that bell a good old tickle to be alerted each and every time that I post a new video. So without much further ado and without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. So we're going to begin with the Andor series, and a new leak which matches up with what I've been told is going to play a big role in a couple of episodes. According to One Take News, who reported on the return of Coruscant in the Andor series, we will also see post-Order 66 clone troopers, specifically some later produced clones, as well as regular bucketheads. While no further details are provided, the fact that they will appear goes hand in hand with what my own source on Andor has told me about what the show wants to explore. Let me explain without being too specific because there are some things I can't explicitly say. The other day I mentioned how we are in for a couple of really big cameos in the Andor series, and apart from some Rebels connections that the show is going to make, you'll be surprised to see some faces that you wouldn't otherwise expect. The series takes place 5 years after Obi-Wan Kenobi and 15 years after Revenge of the Sith. As such, they want to show flashbacks to just after Order 66 and a couple of the survivors that haven't been addressed in the Bad Batch or any other project for that matter. This will be relevant to a couple of characters that Cassian Andor runs into over the course of the series. I've been told that a big part of making the Andor series take place 5 years before Rogue One was to connect the post-prequel era to the original trilogy era. This provides backstory to Cassian Andor himself, while also showing us what some more familiar characters were up to at that stage. If we are going to see clone troopers, this will likely be in flashbacks, especially if we're going to Coruscant, where they connect the planet's past to what's happening right now on the planet at this point in 5 BBY. Exploring the latter days of the Republic in flashbacks would make a lot of prequels fans happy, and as I say, when I saw this article, it connected a lot of the dots in my mind based on what I've been told. I will also say that as we get closer to the show's release date, you will be seeing more and more rumours and leaks pop up, and that will be from various outlets, and I'll be able to confirm or deny them accordingly. I spoke in a previous video about why we shouldn't sleep on the Andor series and why we do need to give it a chance, and I really stand by that. Unfortunately, I think the mindset for a lot of people is, why do we even need a Rogue One prequel? But in all honesty, this show will surprise you. It's not just a Rogue One prequel, it's going to explore way more than that across its 12 episode first season. And as with all shows guys, I will be doing full episode breakdowns and reviews, and just generally 2022 is going to be absolutely jam-packed with content. It's also worth mentioning that we are moving to a Wednesday release schedule instead of a Friday one, so every Wednesday of next year we could be getting an episode of something. We have a second half of the Book of Boba Fett, Andor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, The Bad Batch Season 2, and The Mandalorian Season 3, and then after that another Disney gallery, so all in all we are truly spoiled for content next year. But before that, next month we have Star Wars Visions, and in December of this year we have the Book of Boba Fett. In 2023 we should be getting the Acolyte, the Ahsoka series, and possibly the Lando series, although we've had no updates on that one. But going back to the Andor series, in a big way it's going to connect the Obi-Wan Kenobi series and the Bad Batch Season 2, because they're all shows that take place in the aftermath of the Empire's rise. And I wouldn't be too surprised if there's a literal overlap with characters and actual storylines as well. Recently, I came across a wild rumour that Lucasfilm have plans to bring the Bad Batch members, or at least some of them, into a live-action project. We don't know which one, and I wonder that if it's true, we might see a live-action Echo or Hunter at some stage. And while that would be absolutely amazing in my eyes, it would be very difficult to pull off because they have to be based on Tamara Morrison while also being distinctly unique. So I wouldn't put too much weight on this rumour, but it does make sense if they do want to bring members of the Bad Batch into live action. My money's on the idea that we will see Omega in live action, but maybe not the other members of Clone Force 99. So now my dear friends, we're going to move on and talk about Solo: A Star Wars Story, and a new controversy that has emerged. Tandy Way-Newton, who played Val in Solo: A Star Wars Story and did an incredible job, is mad at Lucasfilm for killing off her character. The headline says the fearless actor talks reminiscence, Westworld, and why her character really died in Solo. Now, putting aside reminiscence and Westworld, I'm only going to talk about Star Wars, so let's dive into those bits. The part of the article that talks about her role in Solo brings up the fact that she was lied to. They didn't tell her that Val was going to be killed off until filming. In her own words, she says, "I felt disappointed by Star Wars that my character was killed." And actually, in the script, she wasn't killed. It happened during filming, and it was much more just to do with the time that we had to do the scenes. It's much easier to have me die than it was to have me fall in a vacuum of space so I can come back sometime. Now, if her death was not in the script, then I sympathise that this is a really hard pill to swallow, especially how it doesn't leave much room for your character to come back. Personally, I've only seen Solo a couple of times. It isn't one of my favourite Star Wars movies, so I tend not to rewatch it. But I will admit that I found Val's death quite unnecessary and premature, especially how she was built up to be very interesting earlier on in the film, even if she wasn't one of the main characters. So yeah, I agree with her. If it wasn't in the script, which I can believe, that's really terrible on behalf of Lucasfilm. Last minute changes like this do happen sometimes, but it must be hard as the actress. And so finally, my dear friends, we're going to be talking about LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Now, we have had many trailers for this in the past, but we got an exclusive new one in yesterday's Gamescom. I must say, guys, it looks absolutely amazing. And at the end of the trailer, we were told that it will be released in spring of 2022. It's been delayed so many times at this point that I do understand a lot of the skepticism that some people have, saying that it's never going to be released. To be honest, I don't know, but I do think that spring 2022 gives them plenty of time to finish up on The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, and also add elements of The Bad Batch, The Clone Wars, and The Mandalorian as well. I really am super excited for this game, and while there is a lot of negativity surrounding it, even if you didn't like episodes 8 and 9, playing through each of the various worlds in LEGO form looks absolutely insane. This trailer really got me hyped, but I hope they don't let us down again. But if it's not your cuppa, it's not your cuppa. Some of the main highlights of the trailer for me were the Tauntauns with the Hoth sunset, the confrontation on Crate, and even the upgrades to the Phantom Menace. Call me boring if you will, but I'm going to be playing this game chronologically, but I suppose the beauty of it is that you can play in whatever order you want. Something that we didn't see in this trailer was Yaddle, even though she's appeared in one of the previous teasers, but I am curious to know where she fits into the game. I've been meaning to make an entire video about Yaddle for a while now because she has made her return 200 years before the Phantom Menace in the new book Out of the Shadows. And while I'm not the biggest fan of the High Republic, and I've made that very clear in the past, there are a few things that I picked up on in that book to do with Yaddle that we need to talk about. But I do digress. Overall, this game looks absolutely lit, and we'll have to wait and see if they do follow through on the 2022 release date. But what do you guys think? Are you looking forward to this game? What do you make of the Andor news and the Solo news and everything we spoke about in today's video? If you guys enjoyed it, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're brand new and a huge welcome if you are, and also be sure to check out my Patreon and my second channel, which is called Meg's Cantina. But otherwise, my dear friends, I'm wishing you a phenomenal rest of the day, no matter where you dwell in the galaxy. Have a good one.